stick the landing twice.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing Mythweaver Pock. This is an alchemy card that generates double the lands when you have a land enter the battlefield for the first time in a turn. And that is, as you might guess, really good, especially because if more than one land enters the battlefield at the same time, they all get doubled and they come into play untapped, assuming the land would already come in untapped from, not being specifically Lair of the Hydra, which comes into play tapped. Everybody else, though, comes into play untapped. Mythweaver Pock is at 4 mana insanely good, and it's pretty easy to figure out what goes really well with it because it's cards that bring in multiple lands at the same time. Looking at cards like this, it also is great if you can trigger it on both your turn and your opponent's turn using instant speed abilities or spells, and if you have the most cards possible entering the battlefield at the same time, either to scape shift or reclamation. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but let's say you sacrifice all your lands to scape shift. You then get that many lands back into play. This deck also features tons of landfall and, of course, our favorite landfall enabler, Ashaya, Soul of the Wild. Landfall getting us things like extra mana or treasures is great, but Ashaya also gives us a way to draw the game. Yes, there's an infinite loop in this deck that you cannot exit from unless you have some crazy stuff built in. If you have Ashaya on the battlefield and then you play Mythweaver Pock, well, Pock will be the first land he sees when he enters the battlefield, and he'll make a copy of himself because he is a land. And then that next one will see a copy of himself because he'll be the first one that he sees, and he'll make a copy of himself. And it will keep going. Doesn't matter which one you choose to keep until the game detects an infinite loop and forces a draw. Yes, this is actually a thing you can do in this deck. Otherwise, this deck is, as you might expect, big green ramp. We got some big, expensive spells up here, which are really good, and many of which care about the number of lands, or get us lands, like Multani or Primeval Titan. These are all fantastic cards. The very versatile Titan of Industry, and of course, where would we be without Emrakul? Or, you can put an Ulamog too. I just put an Emrakul because I prefer it for this deck. A lot of really good things, ways to get your lands into the graveyard, bring them back out, playing multiple lands, and really just ramping up into your big green stuff. I also just want to say, I have been waiting to record this deck for almost a week because I built the deck and then I could not play Arena for a couple days. So I have been sitting here and waiting to show you guys Mythweaver Pock. So we're going to take it into the queue and we're going to double up some lands. Nicol, Bolas, God, Pharaoh. This is the Nicol Bolas that does crime. If your opponent plays this card and they use anything other than the +2 ability, which steals your opponent's spells, or the -4, which deals damage directly, they're playing the card wrong, because he really shouldn't even have other abilities. He's plenty powerful with crime and kill is the only options. Attacking your opponent's hand? Cowardly. Cowardly action. This hand is pretty nice because we do have this turn 1 Llanowar Elves into a turn 2 Settle the Wilds for that double ram slam down, so we can get down Mythweaver Pock early and start doubling up those lands. All right, Settle the Wilds gets us a land and a 3-cost permanent. Tireless Provisioner. Not bad. Got that landfall. Bing bong. I might go for Pock this turn. I'm also considering going for just Provisioner. Reliquary Tower, get myself an extra treasure. Emergent or Exploring. I'm going to Explore. Play out that. Treasure. Use those treasures up. Emergent Sequence into No Covered Forest. Say 3/3, get myself another treasure. Gotta have that ramp. Yes, they did have 1 blue open, which could have meant Wash Away. Counter spells, they sure are. So they'll have potentially 7 mana next turn. Oh, you discarded other Bolas. Yeah, 7 mana next turn so they can play Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh. It's cool. What if I blasted your key to the archive? Start with this. Pock. They didn't crack open the Fabled Passage to get blue for a big ol' counter spell. Hawk doubles my land, which also doubles my landfall, which means I still have mana for Cityscape Leveler. On cast, I blast the key to the archive. Because 1 mana that can only be used on, well, artifacts, spells, and abilities, a lot more useful than 2 mana of any color. Also, now I have a crazy huge board. Hostage Taker, who you taking? My Cityscape Leveler. I don't have a lot of removal since I'm a mono green deck, but at least they can't play this right away. Ooh, Nissa. We want to start with the Nissa into... There's no lands in my graveyard, right? Into this forest. Nissa is going to get both triggers because we are going to get 2 lands into play. We're also going to float a bunch of mana here. Get a couple treasures, some of this, some of that, one of these, some of yous. Ah, Ashaya. So Ashaya is safe to play after Mythweaver Pock. Just not before. Makes Pock a lot bigger. Yeah, let's get that down. And I'll just attack with everything. Hey, you want to kill my Llanowar Elf? No, you want to block the 15/15. Yeah, that's fair. And we get Cityscape Leveler back, who is a land who's going to trigger all this stuff. Boop. We have 9, 10 lands. All our creatures are non-basic lands, thanks to Ashaya. They are forests. Got some treasures, got a conduit. A tireless tracker. That means we've got lethal. They stole a card, but it wasn't enough. Hawk doing landfall stuff. Vito, fanatic of Aklazots. This is the Vito that cares about the number of times you sacrifice in a turn. I do not have a 3rd land in this hand. My deck has a lot of lands in it, so maybe I'll draw one. I have turn 1 ramp. This is me being super greedy. Hey, Vito. Ooh, an Esper Sentinel. Punish me for non-creature spells. Like this one. I don't have an extra land to play this turn, so I'm just going to get this down this turn. It will turn into a 3/3 that potentially untaps some lands. That'll give me some life. I might have to use this Field of Ruin in order to play another spell here. Or we could get this beautiful Windswept Heath. I could save this for Pock in a turn or 2, but I think it's a lot better for me to just use this Blossoming Tortoise this turn to try and get some more ramp. Blood Artist means we'll get drained if creatures die. Mine or theirs. Did we mill a land? No, so we bring back the Windswept Heath. Perfect. This is great with the fetch lands, since you can just sacrifice them each turn, bring them back. Ooh, Blood Fountain. That gives you 2 sacrificable pieces for our good friend Vito. Remember, if you sacrifice once, gain 2 life. Sacrifice twice, opponent loses 2 life. Sacrifice 3 times, 4/3, white-black, vampire demon. Pretty nice. Bring out Pock. Talk the talk and Pock the Pock. Crack open the Windswept Heath. To grab ourselves a forest, which will be 2 forests. One of these. If you sacrifice 4 times, it doesn't give you anything extra. It's kind of sad. Swing in with our Tort. Get churnt with the Tort. I'm gonna grab the Windswept Heath. This will make a copy of the Windswept Heath. Or it will give us the ability to make more copies of the Windswept Heath next turn, since we already had our land trigger this time. But that gives us more landfalls for Scoot and Provisioner. Look, I'm sacrificing things. Honestly, you put in a bunch of the new fetch lands into Vito. Any of them that have black or white as things they can get, I think you can throw them into Vito. Even if it can only get 1 type of land. It's worth the 1 life, because remember, you gain back 2. They're thinking about things. Like, hey, is it Vito time? It is. They don't have any mana up for the sacrifices, but we got a big old kitty man. Let's bring out that provisioner. And a scoot. Crack this bad boy open. Get a bunch of triggers happening. Triggers, 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 landfall, landfall, sandfall, blamsfall. Love that for us. Cool. I think I am going to attack in with the Blossoming Tortoise, letting them kill it, because it brings back the land, gets me more triggers, and if our opponent is to be believed, win the game. If they had a board wipe, going too wide with the scoots could be dangerous. They didn't have one, so we win. GG. Malcolm's out here doing a whole lot of stuff, being flashy, evasive, looting, and then casting spells for free. A great card to put curiosity effects into, a great way to reward yourself for a draw 2 trigger each turn, or maybe even discarding things. And if you're somebody who wants to cast, I don't know, Ulamog or another giant spell, Omniscience for free, whatever you want, Malcolm can do that, but only after he's hit 4 times. This is a good hand. We have a bunch of ramp in it. Hey, Malcolm. Malcolm, being a mono blue deck, is also likely going to be chock full o' counter spells. Yum, yum, tasty, tasty. Not my favorite, but yeah, I'll put up with it. We got some turn 1 ramp on Utopia Sprawl. We'll bring out an Emergent Sequence. Excuse me? Did you not use my colorless mana? Fine. It's like I tapped there for you to use it. It's fine. This gets cast for colorless mana. It's just funny that, like, you'll tap something and it'll be like, nah! Yeah, the shouldered versus Pinkie Pie is very fun looking. Combat Research. So that's a curiosity type effect. Works especially good if you are legendary. They draw a card, then they draw a card and discard a card. I could use the Haywire Might to get rid of the Combat Research. But first, Hawk. Is this getting countered? Probably. Am I still going to try to get my commander out? I got my commander out! Look at that! Sitting pretty. And since I have a sacrificable land, if I hold it until next turn, if Hawk is still on the battlefield, and he won't be. Darn. I was gonna say we can have some fun. I can still ramp, though. We get a second Fabled Passage. I'm actually just going to crack both of these open right now. Since they're unlikely to be able to counter this Forceful Cultivator. Sacrificing Response would not have done anything. This has already seen a land enter the battlefield this turn. Lorien revealed! Gets them an island. Yeah, the thing I could have done instead of Forceful Cultivator is get rid of the Combat Research. But I am deprioritizing that to ramp, because I know what my deck wants, and it's lands. Loads of lands! Malcolm is now up to 2 counters of the 4 needed for the free cast. Oh no, no lands! Trying to see what I think will resolve most. Better for Pock. If they have a counterspell, I want them to use it on Pock. Essence Capture. Making that thing bigger. Alright, cool. So I'm going to try to get them to not be able to get through. Unfortunately, that +1/+1 counter is going to make this a little tougher. I'm just going to do this on this turn so I don't have to think about it. 3-2-0-3. Can't block it much. Can block it once. Curious obsession. Okay. Yeah, a bunch of curiosity effects do make sense here. Still blocking. We do have a couple creatures with reach, like Vorinclex, and I think Cavalier of Thorns is also in this deck, since they get us lands. Something that Mr. Mythweaver Pock really likes. Does this get countered? I kind of think so. No? Pock comes out. Gets me a land. This is a 2-cost henge. Does this get countered? No? You spoil me. It's good swarm. Maybe they just have censor, and it's like, ah, you had more than 1 mana up. Sure did. They could have a River's Rebuke or something like that next turn. Drawing cards, kind of something they're pretty good at, but we want to force them to block by having big Pock. Oh, look, a creature with reachers. They draw a card, then they draw another card and discard. They're up to 3 of the 4. They dropped a Discontinuity. That would have been a pseudo extra turn card, but only if they had 6 mana. It's possible they have an actual extra turn card. Stasis Field. Ah, getting rid of its abilities and turning it into a bitty-itty little tiny defender. Start with a Tireless Provisioner. It resolves. Ancient Green Warden. As we play lands from the graveyard, it's big, it has reach. Sinister Sabotage. I wanted those double landfalls, but that's okay. Get me some treasure. An extra Field of Ruin. We explore, looking for more lands. Didn't find more lands. Did find a lot of damage. And I'm actually going to do something in my opponent's upkeep here. I'm going to blast their Mystic Sanctuary. I'm doing it in an upkeep so they're less likely to be able to use up the mana. Also, it triggers Pock. So we get a land, which is actually 2 lands, which is actually 2 landfalls. 1 treasure. I'm actually feeling a food here. Snack me up, baby. What nasty thing are they going to cast for free? Let's find out. The important thing is that we know it's going to be nasty. Could it be a mass bounce? Could it be a big nasty creature? Could it be something that lets them cast spells for free? Letting them continue the chain of value. Oh, it's actually just a big blocker. Tempest Djinn. Not by the hair on his chinny chin. That's not that scary. Considering I have this in 11-11. Alright, so they're taking an extra turn, so I'm going to eat my Chow. Meow and Chow. This goes into hand, they get an extra turn. And they are able to do quite a bit of damage here. Especially if they're able to chain together a bunch of extra turn spells. Time Warp, that's available to them. We already know the discontinuities in the graveyard, but there's ways to bring back spells from the graveyard in blue. Quite a few ways to do it. And they get to cast more things for free. And they're also drawing lots of cards. 1 more hit's all they need. Yeah, they correctly were, making sure we didn't have our Reacher creature. Boon of the Wish Giver. They've got 7 mana. Enough for a mass bounce. Enough for an extra turn. Even Alrund's Epiphany is castable at this time. It's gotta be something. 9 cards in hand. Okay, this is a frog. Can't gain more life, I suppose. Five mana up. Gotta have something. I don't think what the something would be. It's gotta be a bounce spell. And the card I most want them to bounce is this or this. So I'm going to buff the Hash Up Oasis on the Provisioner. I could have also put it on the Forest because some things say non-land. See that? That was that non-land tech. Go for the Giga Draw. Go for the Gaga Draw. Oh, hey, Ashaya. Wouldn't you be fun? I mean, you genuinely would be very fun, but I think we just go for the attack here. Make them have it! What is it? What is the it? Oh, the it was nothing. We're fine. GG. You know, the guy who taught me how to play Magic has the same username. And if I'm playing against Anders right now, I'm gonna be a little mad. So let's see. He's playing the first Sliver. Assuming that is him. I'm gonna make that assumption. And the first Sliver is sometimes a Sliver deck. And very often, not a Sliver deck. Very often you'll see the first Sliver is just 5-color. Good stuff. Because it's a 5-mana 7/7 with Cascade that enables you to play a little bit of everything. Which is pretty darn good. Let's bring out this Arc of Orazca. Play the Arboreal Grazer. Use that to cheat this Wooded Foothills into play. Here's a Shadow Spear. Looking good. Looking great. Ooh, I actually should have done the other one, cheating this Arc of Orazca into play, so I could crack this open before, just so I could trigger Hawk. It's fine. 1, 2, 3. 3 mana. Just so distracted by the potential of playing against my friend. Oh, hey, Emrakul. Let's get this Agora Autumn out here. Beautiful. Perfect. Pass the turn. I am not cracking open the Wooded Foothills for 2 reasons. The first is that I would like to have this Cultivator in hand. And the second is I want to use the Wooded Foothills to trigger Mythweaver Pock and get 2 forests into play. Well worth 1 life. Also, they just added the fetch lands like 2 days ago. This was not in my original build of this deck because they just weren't here yet. Okay, here we go. Mythweaver Pock to start. The Wooded Foothills, we're going to crack that open. Notably, there was not a land on top of my deck. We'll grab a snow-covered forest. It will come into play. Mythweaver Pock will make a second copy of it, and now we can play the Forceful Cultivator or Castle Garenbrig. May as well play the land while we know there's one on top. We search our library for a basic land card, put it into battlefield tapped, and we ramped. And we ramped very hard. We also now have Coven active, so I can play creatures off the top of my deck. Thanks, Augur of Autumn. You're a really good card. They have enough mana for the first Sliver. Finding the Old Gods. Going to take out Pock, probably? Yep, Pock is gone. I was going to give it Trample. Swing in for a lot of damage. But, you know, that's okay, because I think we'll be able to cut them off from some of their mana this next turn. How many lands do I got here? I could use Conduit of Worlds, bring out that Foothills again. Or we just do this. That's a Vorinclex. I'm going to give Vorinclex the Shadow Sphere post-combat because this now taps for extra mana. And their lands only tap for half mana, by which I mean they tap and then they don't untap. GG, possibly, my friend Anders. Amara, Soul of the Accord, when she's tapped by attacking, by crewing, by using something that taps her for maybe making mana, she gives you a token, a 1/1 white life-linking soldier token. Pretty sweet, especially if you can get it to trigger multiple times in a turn using cards like Halo Fountain that can untap her. You can even double up your tokens. Hey there, Amara. She's very aggressive, too. What they're looking for. What's the ideal card to start with? Maybe the Springleaf Drum turn 1 into Amara turn 2? Or the creature that's very similar? I feel they're both very strong. Let's start with Llanowar Elves over the Kami of Bamboo Groves. Ah. A fellow elf. By the way, Amara, also an elf. Want to make sure I have 4 lands ready. Hopefully we draw another, or 4 mana, I should say. I'm actually going to offer them a trade. I don't think they'd take it since we're ahead on mana. We ramp, we ramp. Nice. Mox Amber means they still have 2 mana up here. And we also will have 2 mana up. Bringing out the Pock. Talk to talk and Pock the Pock. And look at all those beautiful forests. Birch of Loyalty. Cool, a token. This is such a good card in, like, any tokens or counters deck, or just aggro decks in white. I've loved Virtue of Loyalty in so many different decks. And look, they can already play it! Look at that. See, that would even untap Amara if you had ways to tap her. I love that for them. Vorinclex! Vorinclex gets me 2 forests in hand. I'll just grab 1 snow, 1 non-snow. Boop, boop. Play it. Double it. Augur of Autumn. And swinging for 7. Would you like to triple block? No? Good. Mondrak for double the tokens in Legion's Landing. So this is going to get them 2 more 1/1s. If they want to attack with Amara here, she would die, but they would get 2 tokens. They have deemed it not worth it. I have deemed it worth it to make Pock have trample. So we're going to play Gurik's Uprising. This will draw us a card since we do got some big boys. Many a boy, many a big. You know there's no land on top, but it is ramp. So I'm going to Spelunk. Until my lands will enter the battlefield untapped. This is essentially just another Explore, but it's an Explorer that can work really well. Hawk sees the forest, gets me another forest. We can play another forest from the top, because we can play 2 lands this turn. We're going to use the Utopia Sprawl to make this forest tap for 2. Some of this, some of that. Nice Shadow Spear. Nitha. Vital Force. Use Nissa to untap this forest here. It becomes a 5/5. Why would I protect when I can attack? Actually, I kind of want to leave Vorinclex back. But Pock, you're going in. Forest, you're going in. I want to flip it. I want to flip it so good. I think Vorinclex is such a fun card. Oh, dip, they're taking it. They could have a potential lethal swing here. I'd only be able to block a little bit of the damage. But they would need some more buffs first. And right now, don't see them. Mondrak can't be made indestructible. And they all untap at the end of turn. This also flips. You can give them more tokens. Love Mondrak. Landfall, draw a card is what we're hoping for on Nissa, though honestly we'd probably just be going for the life stink. I have a feeling that whatever is blocked is going to be sacrificed to Mondrak, so we are going to block the biggest thing. I am actually going to just block all 3 of these, even though this one is going to die in the process. Do you have a buff? Or are you just munching these 2 guys up? Yum yum tasty tasty. 1 mana. Making 2 guys. Okay. Not sacrificing the guys who are going to die anyway. You have a bunch of lifelinkers. That's cool. That's cool. Do I want landfall, draw a card? I think I really need landfall, draw a card. I just want landfall in Biggin. In Growthatize. Ooh. Just restoration. So many lands available. I'm going to draw that. Get big. Get funky. Get chunky. Get huge. I know. I said I was going to flip Vorinclex. But then there's just a lot. I want to do a lot. I can make Mondrak unindestructible here. Give the cat lifelink. Yeah! Verdant Command! Making 2-tapped squirrels and countering the ability. These are all tapped. Had they done those before end step, those 4 would have been able to come back. So now I just need to see. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. There's 7 life gainable. That would have punished the flip, too. Oh, the ult. Yeah, it would have punished the ult if I'd gone for the minus. I think we just go in with Pock. Meow. Oh, if everybody's just getting in the way. I'm going to say we got 13 to go with. We could technically bring this up by 2, though I'd prefer to save it for next turn. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it wouldn't be enough to kill all of it anyway. We want to take out all but the Elvish Mystic here. Yeah, that cleanly takes those out. It wouldn't have changed the math on you. Move my commander to the command zone. Yes, please, and thank you. Oh my gosh, they're all going to be so cute untapped and getting bigger. I will re-equip. Throw that onto Vorinclex. Yeah, Verdant Command is a good way to stop an ult, especially if you're, like, sacrificing your card to do it. Aw, it's Ugin. Hi, Ugin. Are you killing Vorinclex? Lest he gain me life. Yep, there he goes. Bye, Vorinclex. Bye, Vorinclex. I should have flipped. Could have flipped. Should have flipped. For all you know, there were no creatures in the top cards of my deck. Ooh. Okay, that changes things a little bit. I'm gonna try and take out Mondrak. So Mondrak can be made indestructible. But we can remove indestructible. We gotta wait. You get the indestructible. You lose the indestructible. Nissa gets blasted, but she's alive. These all untap. PogChamp. Hoof! I'm gonna use Entist Restoration here to just show you how much it's gonna go wild. I sacrifice a land. I get 1, 2, 3. And they all come in untapped because of Spelunking. And we get 3 additional lands. Play an extra land for good measure. We're gonna animate our Utopia Sprawl, why not? And Hoof. Go ahead and give you a little beefing. Gain some life, some face, do some good work. GG. Klothys, God of Destiny. She exiles cards from graveyards to either get mana or deal damage to your opponent and gain life. I think that Klothys is a fantastic rule commander, especially if you really just want to get some good lasting value that turn over turn gives you a little bit closer to winning the game. Not necessarily having to do anything other than see your opponent have things in graveyards, which you can put into graveyards using cards like Lightning Bolt. They bolted the bird, which surprises nobody. I would rather save this Windswept Heath, but I am going to use it right now. Just cracking it open. Grabbing a forest. Do I want this? Sure. I guess I could have gained more life back if I had held it for next turn. Into the north. I've got that in my deck too. Sometimes you just gotta ramp. I'm running only a few snow-covered forests though, because you know, Raydan is real and she can hurt you. See if I can get another land in hand here. Mill, mill, mill. Ah, there we go. Ooh, but there's a Henge and then a Shia. You have a hard bargain. I'm taking the Henge. If they play like another Snowland here, the Faceless Haven will be able to attack Ren and Realmbreaker. Calculating. Nah, they're playing Klothys. Just take the stuff out of the graveyard, then I can't use it. Easy. Easy. Well, gets me a land. Not really in the way I want, but I'll take it. Cultivator. Don't need to animate a land, since it would not be blocking. I wonder if they'll take the lands out of the graveyard. The lands get the mana if they hit them. Nope, they went for damage to my face, hitting a Shia, so I can't bring it back from the graveyard. And Soul Searing Ren. No more value for me. Oh no, I don't have more lands I can get here. I could always sacrifice a land to get a land. But I won't have enough mana to do that and anything else. I'm actually going to play the Arboreal Grazer so I have more blockers here. And yeah, I'll just swing in with both. Boop, boop. You could pull off this outfit? You mean wearing, like, just pauldrons and arm guards and a skirt? No shirt? No problem. It's a good look. It's a good look. Elvish Reclaimer knows what's up. Windswept Heath gets them another mana. 6 mana now. Could it be? Maybe a Primeval Titan? No, Godrior Statue to tax my spells. Including, unfortunately, my commander. Thankfully, we do have silly ways to ramp using the Provisioner here. I'll just set up for next turn. Elvish Reclaimer. Let's go ahead and grab Nykthos. No possible reason I would want a Nykthos. No way. Nobody's ever wanted one of those before. Klothys still at only 2 devotion from herself. 2 more damage to my face. A Fabled Passage. It's our Mythweaver Pog. Puggers. Also, yes. Oh, hey, Chandra. You gonna -3? Ugh. Big sneezies. There goes all my sweet goodies. Could throw down one of you. I feel like killing the Chandra is my #1 thing here. So we're going to animate our snow-covered forest and use it to slam into Chandra. Goreclaw would be discounting the Pawk, bringing it, kind of undoing the God Pharaoh statue. Slamming into Chandra. Open a hinge gets cheaper. Bare necessities. Bear with me. Looks like this might be some Gruul control. Very cool, very Gruul. You gonna kill my forest? They melted my forest with a bane fire. Secret land destruction tech. Bringing out Pawk, sacrificing those treasures so I can get double to land, double to fun. Also having a 6/6 because it's hard for them to kill a 6/6. Probably. Goreclaw is also really nice with Pawk because it's a way to give this creature trample. Badger Frisbees getting mana. 7 mana. Tybalt can't gain life, even off our henge, which they do know about. They saw me put that in hand. Making a devil! And solve him to double any non-combat damage, like, you. Or this guy. I want to get the henge down. It's like I gotta ramp because of all this stuff happening. Why does it want to tap Nykthos? Because right now I don't have a lot of devotion for Nykthos. Hunter Tapper works in mysterious ways. Yeah, it's very mysterious. Oh, the doubled up lava coil! So normally I would just tap this to float mana and gain 2 life, but can't gain life. Tybalt's here. Nice, they have protection from everything. Sulfum swinging in, leaving both the devils back. But now do I finally have enough mana to, like, play this stuff? Alright. I'm just going to get the Titan out. Normally I would go for the life gain. It's not a helpful thing right here. The shield... The Rhino. I want to get rid of the ding-dang statue. This is indestructible, so I can't get rid of it. And my spells shall be, once more, minorly affordable! I'm also approaching death. That's 4 damage. Each of these can deal 2. I feel like they have a lethal swing. They're, like, close to lethal attacking with everything, because I, like, can't block those. Definitely not the spot I want to be in. Kind of forces me to use the Titan to try to take out Tybalt so I can gain life back. But I have to somehow not die first. Okay, so they're not animating the Faceless Haven. Crawling Baron can be animated, but it can't attack this turn. Run! Nice, let's Klothys attack this turn. Both of them cannot be made indestructible. Let's see what I can draw here. Assume these two block. Go for run. We're dead to non-combat damage next to Sulfum. Still do my best here. Let's see what we draw, but I don't think there's any out. Cool, Lair the Hydra. They both come into play tapped. Our life gain negated. Our power negated. But at least I can make big green stuff. Yeah, stupid sexy Tibble. This is, I believe, the most played Tibble card, which is so fun. Like, yeah, of course he is. GG. Ratadrabic of Urborg. Oftentimes an infinite loop deck that's trying to tempt by the ring when a creature enters or leaves the battlefield, kind of depending on which strategy they're using, to turn things into legends, to infinitely sacrifice them to drain their opponent out, or make tons and tons of tokens. Ratadrabic is a pretty cool card because it cares about legends dying. And if you have a way to make things into a legend when they die, then you get even more legends! Have a mammoth! An ambitious farmhand. Gets them a land. They taxed my commander. I'm gonna get some lands. Otherwise I would have, definitely gone for some Pock there. And I'm gonna aim this at face. Yeah, flipping this over is good. It gets me more mana, but that's 9 damage, and I want 9 damage to their face. Thankfully, we're pretty good at ramping, so the curse only curses us a little bit. Gonna kill my mammoth. Bone shards! Did I legit just Cityscape Leveler? Dang. I have so much mana. I'm out here swimming in mana. Would Mythweaver double the backside? Yes, if it was the first land to enter the battlefield. You want to see? Of course you want to see that happen. Cityscape Leveler! Blast this fool! There's nothing here I really want to hit. They have protection from the One Ring. So the Skyclave is a land. So Pock says, dang, that's crazy, bro, and gets me another invasion of Zendikar. Which is very cool and very normal. I don't need 2 Field of Ruins. This is for more land, more fun. Hawk! Grow! Land enters the battlefield. Getting the friend. Exiling my cityscape leveler, because otherwise I can just blast this. Ooh, speaking of blasting things. Hope you didn't use a castle. Don't question it. Destroy a thing. Go for a shield, just because they're pretty good at blasting my whole face. So let's destroy you and protect you. My good friend Pock. Oracle Mully Dully, not a land on top. So we're going to shuffle our cards. Get 2 more lands into play. Those will get doubled, because I don't think I played another land this turn yet. Something, something, something. Gameplay. GG. The first and only Sliver. Hey there, first Sliver. I wonder how many Slivers are actually in your deck. I'm going to assume just the one. But maybe we'll get lucky and we'll play against an actual factual Slivers deck. It happens occasionally. Mulligan, so we have early ramp. That will work for early ramp. This is also a cool card to get out. Okay, I'm gonna lead with this since I don't really want this tapped land coming in later. Turn 2 ramp off of Azuzu's many journeys. All of our joinies. So we play an extra land. I'll play Besajo, Who Endures. What you grabbing off those wooded foothills? Shock. Love it when they pay 3 lands. And they ramp. Putting out another mountain. Oh, more shocks. Selvala. Selvala's very good at generating a lot of mana with the first Sliver. Gain 3 life. And I wouldn't be triggering Pock here if I play him. Which I would really rather do that. So I'm going to play Garruk's Uprising instead. There's enough mana. Very often, the first Sliver in a 5-color good stuff deck is just cascading into removal. That's why I feel like this is a safer play. They won't have enough mana to still use Selvala after, unless they have something else here. Can tap it for red? For blue? Do you not have all 5 colors? No, because your only black source is your only white source. You'd have to use Selvala first. So I think there is a way through this. You have to use one of the green-blue sources to generate blue and white. Or green and white. Because Selvala can transform some mana. Oh, they're going for Cruelty of Gix. Chapter 1 means they can get this Vorinclex out of my hand. That's actually very good for them, because they'll be able to steal that Vorinclex later. No, they had enough colors. I think they just had to use Selvala as part of it. Who are you hitting? Oh, prime time. I draw a card! Yay! Big boys! More card draw, please. Cool. There it is. Trying to decide if I want to go for Shigeki this turn or the super double ramp. They left me with Vorinclex. I would love to play Vorinclex next turn. Shigeki would let me bring back the Primeval Titan in hand, too. We pass. Great, wonderful, excellent. I'm gonna crack this open right now to get more mana! Ooh. Nice. You think we're gonna get Emergent Ultimatumed? Do they have the mana for it yet? I don't know. Again, they have 5/6 mana here, using Selvala. 7, but it's not all in the colors that it would have to be. Shigekiing the Titan back. Yep, I can wait until they target it, too. Plop down 1 land, gets 4. Okay, it's a Day of Judgment. Do you wipe the board? No, they chose not to because they want their Selvala. I can crack this up, but I have another land I can play in hand. If I didn't, I would leave it there. Shigeki, Shigeki, Shigeki. The girl who's hard to get. No green. They didn't leave up green because they didn't use it to task this. Did I tap it where they wouldn't be able to use her? Yeah, we had a really, really nice turn. They knew about the Shigeki. They knew we could take this out of the graveyard. They did know about the hoof. But, oh yeah. We had a hoof. GG. This hand does not have any turn 1 ramp. It has turn 3 ramp, and it does have 3 land to get there, but since our opponent goes first, we gotta hit that mulligan. Turn 2 ramp, I will take. So we're going to keep this. We're up against a Davriel Soul Broker. This is the offers and conditions Davriel, oftentimes discounting your spells, gaining you life when you draw cards, things like that. Let's start with Kazandu Mammoth. This is a land when we need it to be. Nice, nice, nice. I don't have to worry too much about counter spells. We can either do Emergent Sequence or Explore. I'm going to go for Emergent Sequence this turn. This gets me a land, and it will be a 2/2. Since we had another land enter the battlefield. Look! It's a little 2/2 Forest Fractal. And it's also both blue and green, and it got pushed. We pushed an entire forest? How? Let's not question it. Davriel, offers and conditions. All right, everybody pay close attention because you can't always tell what offers and conditions this guy gets because they disappear really quickly if they're not emblems. Okay, draw 3 cards and each... I think it was each creature your opponent controls perpetually gets +1/+1. Great, I didn't have any creatures. You jerk. One of these. One of those. I'm gonna name... I don't know. Cat Druid. Is he a Druid? Shaman, right? Whoops. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I'm gonna have enough mana. And next turn we can go Pawk into Windswept Heath. Sure. And then we can use the Heath to trigger Pawk again on their turn for more lands. Gotta have my lands.
Don't bother me, or else.
Okay, that was until your next turn whenever... Oh, it was just a plus. Okay. I am not attacking, so I don't have to risk the sacrifice, the discard, anything like that. Here's Pawk. And Pawk gets huge with all these lands that we're going to get into play. Meow, meow. I don't have any use for cracking these open right now, so I'll just wait, pass the turn. Windswept Keith? Yeah, that's his name, probably. This is Keith. And he's dead. Graveyard to the command zone. Gonna make us exile from the graveyard. I do have a little bit of ways to bring back lands from the grave. That's why I'm trying to keep the forest here for the relic. Okay, more offers and conditions, and this time... creatures you control get +2/+0, and that is permanent, and you gain an emblem with you lose 1 life for each creature you control. Okay, cool. Yeah, as long as you have a way to trigger the landfall once, you typically do manage to refund this mana cost. And I'm just out here thinking, maybe I should just set up for the lockout. The Ashaya Mythweaver Pawk double whammy skablammy rude dude tactic. Oh, Lich's Mastery. You can't lose the game, huh? But you can draw the game. Lose the game, no. Draw the game, yes. So I'm gonna bring out Nissa here. Hey, girl. I'm going to animate a land. The valley. Smash into Davriel.
Fine. I'll just have all the tea.
I'll have to deal a lot of damage to kill them through a Lich's Mastery. We'll see. They'll start running out of permanents. I feel like Planeswalkers are probably safer. This gives me the ult that draws the cards. We're just gonna get the Invasion of Zendikar rolling. 2 more lands. Ba-bam. Even turns into a land. And this is going to double up our mana, which will make it a lot easier to do Shia into Pawk. You know, emergency exit button. Aw, no! They brought him back. I didn't even notice they kept him in the graveyard.
If it's a deal you want.
Do you plus or minus? They could kill my mammoth. Something kind of fun, by the way. This says whenever an opponent attacks you or a planeswalker you control, does not include battles. You can still attack battles without having to deal with the downside. Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I just go for it? I have to hit this first. I mean, I wanted to do it in at least one game for this video. And why shouldn't it be this one? Why shouldn't it?
Together, we will prevail. Harness the elements.
Magic's back. Sure is. What are they doing here? Drawing cards, getting things, getting life, drawing cards. As like I'm also thinking, like, gosh, it would be really funny to hit them for a ton of damage too. Hey, you're already a land. When this got turned into a 3/3, I kind of like forgot, like, oh yeah, you're not just the mammoth. They have an infinite loop. They beat me to it. They managed to get so this will not, by the way, lose them the game. It will just draw them every card in their deck, which what? It could get them a board wipe? You can't draw by you can't lose by overdrawing with Lich's Mastery out. I wonder what card they want. Like, they clearly set this up on purpose. How many cards you got left? 41? Okay, this is gonna go a while. I'll fast forward. Oh, okay, so they're down to the last card in their deck. And, so somebody mentioned that this is not actually going to, stop, though. Because it's still trying to draw a card? Or is this just the triggers resolving? Okay, it's just the triggers. Right? No, it's just going through the life gain triggers. If they have Aetherflux Reservoir, they could pay 50 life and hit me. But they would need to wait until my turn to do it, because they'd need to discard 50 cards in order to do it without dying. No, we're getting through it. We're getting through it. These are just triggers that were left over. But they don't get a second main phase, and then they lose the game. And then they lose the game? That was something. Huh. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. And for the first time, Brawl actually refers to historic Brawl by default. I guess Wizards of the Coast decided that not enough people play Brawl, and we may as well just call the more popular format historic Brawl, Brawl. And what was formerly known as Brawl is now Standard Brawl. If you like this deck list, it is in the description of the video, so you too can import it into Arena and make a silly number of lands. You want to scape shift and get all your lands back? Do it. You want to cause an infinite loop for literally no reason? Do it. It's funny. I guess if you're in a losing position and you enter into the infinite loop, it's a draw, which isn't a loss, which doesn't really matter in a format where a draw is the same as a loss, because Arena is silly like that. But imagine if it did matter. Thank you so much for watching, and have a brawlful day.